So we're standing outside the employee entrance. We're on Palace Road.
On Palace Road, exactly. We're standing on the sidewalk, basically at the spot where the car used by the thieves that night pulled up. Two individuals get out of the car and make their way over to the entrance. The thieves hit this buzzer and when the guard answers, they tell him that they're reporting to a disturbance in the yard, and the guard immediately buzzes them in, believing that they're police officers.
So once they're in this door, are they in the building?
Once they're in that door, it's basically a fait accompli. They're inside the museum at this point. So when they came in, they step up to the desk here. They address the guard who's behind the desk, the one who buzzed them in, and they basically say to him, they have a little small talk about why they're there, and then a couple of seconds later, he says, you look familiar to me. Let me see your identification. So he hands him his driver's license and his museum ID. And the person posing as a police officer said, "Come out from around there. I think there's a warrant out for you." And then he says to him, "Are you working alone?" And he said, "No, there's another person here." He said, "Well, get him down here." So he calls him on the radio. And the other person proceeds downstairs and meets him here. The two police officers take the guards. They put both up against the wall, and it's sort of a typical police procedure, and begin to handcuff them. And once they have the guards secured with handcuffs, the thieves say, "Gentlemen, this is a robbery." This staircase was used by the courtyard here, and the thieves made their way up these stairs. So if you come off the stairs and basically do like a U-turn, you head directly to the Dutch room, and this is basically the pattern you see from the motion detectors. You see an alarm go off here, and when I say an alarm, it's an internal alarm only, and then alarms are triggered here in the Dutch room. It's an amazing thing to be in this room. First of all, you're surrounded by genius. I mean, this is a room that houses Rembrandt and Van Dyck and Rubens, and once and will someday again house a Vermeer. The interesting thing also is that in this room of what I think is unparalleled beauty, it's also the location of the largest property theft that has ever occurred in recorded history. And then they basically walk this pattern through the hall, through the early Italian room, and this is the Raphael room. Nothing was stolen from here. So they bypass these pieces to come here into the short gallery. And here in the short gallery, you'll see this is where the 5 pieces by Degas were. They spend an enormous amount of time in here. They take these, there are 3 frames, and in them are 5 pieces by Degas. This is Napoleon's 1st Regiment flag here. And atop this flag, you can see this little wood stump coming out here. That's where the Napoleonic finial was.
How long into the theft are they?
It's about the same time. So they come in the building at 1:24. 24 minutes later, they make their way upstairs. And then after just a couple of short minutes, now you have guys working, at least one person in the Dutch room and at least one person here in the short gallery doing this work. So at some point in the evening, and the motion detector records do not show exactly when, at least one of the thieves makes his way to the blue room, which is here on the 1st floor by the courtyard. He comes in here and comes over to the south wall in the blue room and takes Manet's Chez Tortoni, which is a painting of a gentleman in a top hat at a cafe. It's just not very large. It's about, I would say, about 8 by 10. Again, it's removed from its frame. Look at the alarms from that night. You can tell that the thieves made 2 exits, so they left separately, about 4 minutes apart. And we can tell this because the alarms show that the interior door opens and closes, then the exterior door opens and closes. And then 4 minutes later, that sequence happens again with no more entries. So there was one trip into the building at 1:24, and then at 2:45, the last person leaves, and they've not been heard from again. Their last words, as I understand it, to the guards who were still tied up in the basement were, they implied to them that if you keep your mouth shut, that you'll get a reward in a year's time, and then said, tell them they'll be hearing from us. And we never heard from them again.